everyone, and welcome to the Zelda Cast here on ZeldaDungeon.net. My name is Andy Spiteri, joined by Allison Aletha. Al, it is Age of Imprisonment week. We are less than 1 month away from Metroid Prime 4. Things are looking up. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I feel like maybe both of us are feeling better than last week. I mean, I feel better than last week.
Yes.
Yeah, like there was also this kind of lull. Like there's always a pre-new game lull where I'm like, okay, I just want the game now, but I have to wait. So I'm just kind of in this mood where I'm like, I'm ready. So now we have it, and I'm much more chipper and stoked than last week.
Nice. Yeah, that's I feel pretty good. I wasn't feeling too hot last week, although I think we powered through the episode.
Yeah, we did okay.
Didn't hear any complaints. And yeah, so Age of Imprisonment is here. It feels like it kind of snuck up a little bit on us. Like at least to me, I was playing so much stuff, and I was like, oh my god, like Age of Imprisonment is out in like 2 days. Like I got to make arrangements to go get it.
As excited as I was for Age of Imprisonment to come out, I was also a little annoyed because I'm still playing Pokemon. So there's just such a weird release window that's happening. We've talked about this on the last few episodes, that especially when we got the release dates of Age of Imprisonment and Metroid, and I'm just like, oh man, I don't have enough time to play these games, and I have my alpha access that I haven't been able to touch since day one for my time at Evershine. So that's kind of annoying, but yeah, it's kind of like there's too much happening at once, even though I'm really excited to get this game and play this game.
By the way, before we talk about Age of Imprisonment, I do want to say I'm going to commit to getting Pokemon in 2026. I'm going to commit to getting it, because I've heard from you, I've heard from other people in the Omega server, even Gooey yesterday. I have heard that the game is just really, really exceptional. And I thought that Legends like Arceus was really great too. So I skipped the last gen. I skipped Violet and Scarlet. So I feel like I do want to pick this one up, because there does seem to be a disconnect between some of the more like the reviews from critics, and then the reviews from people I know. So I think I'm going to trust the people I know and pick it up, because it sounds fun.
Even I want to amend what I said maybe 3 weeks ago, because I was just playing the initial hours of it, and I was like, maybe, I don't know, I can understand, but I'm still having fun. It was a blast. I'm almost done with the game. I'll continue to play it. It was so fun. The story was so fun. I had an awesome time. I love the Legends, these kind of side Pokemon games, and I want them to keep coming, because that was it. ZA was so much fun.
Nice. So yeah, it's been a busy last couple of weeks, to say the least, but we are here with Age of Imprisonment officially out. So today we are going to be talking about our first impressions on the game. And before we get there, I do have a couple things that I want to just quickly go over. And actually, let's start off with Patreon. New episodes of the Zelda Cast XL are dropping this week. So it is a great time to get in on that action. It's just kind of a nice variety show. We tackle some questions. We kind of chat about the latest things that we've been doing as it pertains to Zelda, and we play Zelda Hurdle, which has been a smash success segment on this show. So I wanted to give a shout out to Zelda Hurdle. They really provide us with a lot of great content, and I don't know anyone else doing. I can't think of another game series that has a dedicated hurdle. I'm sure there probably is, but Zelda's the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
I don't know of any other. When you guys do it, are you guys doing the infinite hurdle or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We usually do three or four.
Nice.
Depending on how we do. So
yeah, we're not feeling good. We're done.
we were actually saying is there another hurdle that you feel confident, another series that you feel confident that you could get? Metroid for me, obviously. And I think Final Fantasy and Mario I could do pretty well at.
No. This is the kind of stuff that I'm not really great at, because I don't remember names of stuff. That I can hear the song and be I know when this happens. But maybe Lord of the Rings I feel I would do really good with, because I love all the music, and the two different franchises of that the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings, but I don't know if I would know the names. I'd be like, this plays in like Rohan, or this plays when they're running from the Balrog. You know, like I could do that, but I like suck at names. So even Zelda Hurdle, I struggle with.
Well, we spoiler, we did not struggle. We did really good, actually.
Oh, there you go.
I was impressed with us. I think we went 3 for 3 on this last Zelda Cast XL. So go and check that out. Goo and I just recorded some new episodes. We also recorded new episodes of Gooey Plays Metroid over on patreon.com/spnet. We've got new episodes of the Middle Earth, the podcast, where Al and I and Corey reviewed Tales of the Shire, and you'll have to see what we said and if we agree with the critics or disagree with the critics. So go and check that out over on Patreon. The next thing that I want to spend a minute talking about here, because I know that some people will be understandably sensitive about this, is our spoiler policy for the coverage that we're going to be giving Age of Imprisonment here. So the way that we're going to do this, and actually I'll lead off before I say anything else. Like, if you're looking to go in blind, if you're looking to go in like not knowing absolutely anything, you probably don't want to listen to maybe some of the episodes over the next couple of weeks. Bookmark them, come back for them whenever you're ready. But we are going to be discussing some spoilery topics, but like, we're not, Al and I certainly haven't finished the game. So what we're going to do over the next couple of weeks here is we're going to kind of tell you like what we're going to be covering. So like today, we're going to be covering about the first chapter and a half. So let's just say chapter 1 and 2 of the game. And so if you've not finished chapter 2, even though we're only going about halfway to chapter 2, you probably don't want to listen to this episode. We will give very clear and concise warnings when we're about to get spoilery, and it'll probably be like the first half of the show we'll try and avoid spoilers. The second half will be all spoilers. As a quick roadmap here, and so we don't have it nailed down to a science yet, because obviously we don't know exactly what's going to change or not change, or how long things are going to take, but we're going to do initial impressions today. So probably like chapter 1, 2. We're going to follow that up next week with probably like chapter 3, 4-ish, depending on how far we get. I'm like halfway through chapter 3 right now myself, so we'll see. Probably either do like chapter like 5 till end of game or whatever. See, I don't know how many chapters there are, but we'll kind of do that week by week. We'll do an episode talking about the story review, which I think is what everybody really wants to hear about. We'll do an episode talking about the playable characters, who we thought was good, who we thought didn't work. And then we'll do an episode on the, just taking fan questions. And so that will basically take us until the end of 2026. And we'll get an episode for the best Zelda ever from Zelda Dungeon coming in there as well. So that is your roadmap for the end of 2026. And by the way, we've got some really cool stuff coming in 2026 as well. We're going to be talking about Ocarina of Time Master Quest. We are going to be celebrating the 20th anniversary of Okami. And I have committed, Al, to replaying freshly picked Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land.
You've committed to replaying. I have to commit to playing.
That's right, you do. Yes, you do.
You're making me play like 3 different games next year when I already have a big to play game.
Am I making you play 3 games? Or
well, I've never played Master Quest.
Okay.
I've only played part of Okami.
Okay.
And I've never played Tingles. So
the only you have to play Okami. That's the one I'm putting my foot down on.
Okay, that's fair, and I'm down for that.
Now, you should have already played Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land, so that's your fault, okay?
Yeah, that's true.
Master Quest. I mean, who doesn't love playing Ocarina of Time? Come on.
I love playing Ocarina of Time, but Master Quest looks nutty. Did we talk about those cows in Jabu Jabu's belly? I think so.
Oh, we talked about them. Oh, we did. So yeah, cool stuff coming for 2026. But obviously, Age of Imprisonment is going to carry us for the rest of this year here. So there will be spoilers for the first 2 chapters today. So I want to reiterate, there will be spoilers for the first 2 chapters for today.
You've been warned.
Okay, we're all still here, and we'll put this in the text too, by the way.
Yes.
Okay, so we're still here. Perfect. Okay, well, Al, let's get into it. Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment came out on Thursday. I actually took a work from home remote day on Thursday so I could drive over to EB on my lunch break and pick up this game because I didn't pre-order it. I was just like, oh yeah, I better like go and buy the game. It's out today. That's right. So picked it up and I actually didn't get a chance to really play it on Thursday like at all. I played for like an hour and that was about it. Played for a little bit on Friday, a little bit yesterday, and yeah, we'll talk about our thoughts. We'll talk about how like the game opens up and maybe some of like the playable characters and all that kind of stuff and see kind of where we're at. But I'm probably at about like 5-6 hours into the game right now, if I had to guesstimate.
I want to say I'm about like 4 or 5 as well. Because you're a little bit further than me. I finished chapter 2 and maybe did a couple side things, but haven't gone on to the next like big story moment after chapter 2. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. I'm like, part of me likes this and part of me hates this about the Warrior games, where it's like you've got all these icons all over your map, and I'm like, I just want to take care of the side quest ones before I move on to the main quest. And so like every time you do a side quest, like 10 more pop up, and it's like it's never ending. And it's just like, oh, God. So I feel like I'm actually behind where I should be relative to the amount of hours that I've been playing this game. I've got about 8 playable characters right now. We're only going to focus on 4 for today. And yeah, I'm going to go back for some more this afternoon. So getting a head start on next week. But I will say my initial impression is this is a Warriors game. You know what? Like, it's...
yeah.
It's not going to change your opinion if you feel a certain way or don't about Warriors games. It's not going to... it's... You know what? How do I say this? Like, it's not going to change your opinion if you think that the story of Warrior games are, like, really dumb or, like, really just, like, hokey or out there. Like, I feel like... I feel like those stories have always been like a little outrageous, and I feel like that kind of works for the Warriors games, right? And I think that people were maybe expecting a little bit more of a grounded story, and the jury is still out on that. But I would say for my experience so far, like this is like it feels like it should be a spin-off non-canon story because there's like some weird stuff going on. Like it's not quite Terrico level, but there is some weird stuff going on.
So I'm somewhat in agreement with you, but I'm like kind of reserving my judgment just because there's still so much game to play.
Yeah.
I can see what you mean about there is a little bit of weird stuff, but like this is some weird stuff that I find acceptable so far. It doesn't
Me too, just to be clear, yeah.
Yeah, it's not gotten to the point where I'm like, this is not canon. But it's gotten to the point where it's like, you said a couple weeks ago, where it's like, we don't know some of the stuff that's happened. So it's okay that this stuff has happened in the like on the side here. And that's where we're at so far. So I'm like, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it too. It is like, it's not, it's a weird story so far. Like there's lots of things going on. It feels like a Warrior-esque kind of story to me, whatever that means. But there's nothing. I mean, we'll say it off the top. There's nothing so far that has like broken the promise of this is a canonical tale. There's maybe some things that are bending it a little bit, I will say, but nothing that I don't think that you could just like come up with some sort of explanation to.
Right. And I already have like a theory in my mind of how I think it'll work out in the end to keep it canonical.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, we'll see how it goes. But like, yeah, if they start getting crazy with what they've already done, we're going to be, treading some dangerous territory. But I feel like I have an idea of what they're going to do, and I'll be totally content with it. So
let's talk about that at the end of this episode.
Let's do it. Okay.
So the game starts off, and you've got Calamo, not Calamo, but Calamo, in the depths, and he finds a bed that looks very much like the thing that you put together, that construct for Minoru in the construct factory, and he finds one of those, and all of a sudden, this mysterious construct has come to life, and the mysterious construct looks very cool. And Calamo's got he's like a likable sort of guy, and that's kind of our opening, and then we immediately transition over to Sonia and Rauru finding Zelda in Hyrule Field, and I think like one of the good things that this game is doing so far is that it's giving you like the flashback that you already know happened in Tears of the Kingdom, but expanding on it, and like the window is wider, or you're seeing these events from a different point of view as well, which I think is a formula that is going to be successful for this game as well. So yeah, you kind of start off with Zelda back in time, and you see that Rauru is the one creating these shrines, these Zonai energy shrines, and the game kind of starts from there. So I will say, I don't know if you would agree with this or not, but I found that the pacing of the opening was like all over the place.
It was super weird for me. I want to like let me backtrack a teeny tiny bit. When we move on to our spoilers, are we going to talk more about Calamo and the construct and like how the construct actually comes to be alive?
Sure, yeah. You know what? We're talking spoilers right now. If you want to talk about that now, let's just talk about it now.
Spoilers right now. Okay, this is where I was like, maybe they're kind of bending it a little bit, but yeah. Zelda falls back in time, and so does the point shard that broke off of the Master Sword that cut Ganondorf's cheek, and that's what Calamo finds. And then all of a sudden, the shard of the Master Sword attaches itself to that construct, and you hear Fi's theme as this construct comes to life, like faintly. You hear Fi's theme. So here's where I'm like, okay, maybe this is something that I could find acceptable. And we always kind of wondered, like, what is this construct? Why in that one trailer did they play Fi's theme while it was coming to life? So are we theorizing here that it's just like the spirit of the Master Sword is in this construct now?
Either the spirit of the Master Sword, or I think like the spirit of Link in general.
Okay.
Like either one, I feel like they're one and the same. But I mean, I think it's pretty clear. Like this construct is definitely Link. In some fashion. Yeah.
Right. In my mind, and we'll talk more about it when we get to the part where you could play as this character, I feel like it's Fi, the spirit of the Master Sword, and she's doing what she knows, which is what she's experienced with Link. So that's why this construct has taken on the Link like persona, if that makes sense. Because what else does she know except being, the spirit of the Master Sword who's been held by so many heroes? So that's what my theory is that's how this construct is operating.
My theory is more so like part of Link is in that Master Sword, and now part of this Master Sword is in this construct. I think like I'm not sure if like Fi or the Skyward Sword and Beyond timeline exists in this era timeline. Like in this era of the Wild timeline, I think it's like I said, if your point chart is like chaos, primordial chaos, and like left is the Skyward Sword timeline, and right is like the Breath of the Wild timeline. That's what more so I kind of think this is. But yeah, I think like basically the gist is the same.
I mean, it's kind of fair that you say that, but at the same time, if they're playing Fi's theme, like Fi is involved. So
yeah, maybe
they play Fi's theme in Breath of the Wild. They play it here in this moment at the beginning of Age of Imprisonment. So to me, the spirit of the Master Sword being Fi is involved.
Maybe.
So that's how I feel about that.
I feel like I just kind of feel like that's like the Master Sword theme at this point. But I mean, it's semantics. Whatever. Like if it's Fi, then great. That'd be cool if Fi was a playable character, bolster.
And this like builds into my theory that I have of how they're going to wrap this up. So we can get to that later.
Okay. So yes, the mysterious construct and Calamo are buddies. In fact, Calamo keeps on calling him. He's like, "Hey, bud, come on, bud."
I love it. You haven't seen How to Train Your Dragon, I don't think, right?
No, I have not.
Okay, well, Hiccup calls Toothless, the dragon, he calls him Bud. So like it gives me that vibe where I'm like, oh, Bud, like it's cute.
Exactly what you want in your Hyrule Warriors.
I love it. I think it's an adorable kind of like he basically adopted this construct and they're going on, like Calamo's little adventure, and he's like, this is my Bud, and we're pals now.
Okay. Nothing. Yeah, that's fine. I've never seen that movie, but I've heard it's great.
You should watch those.
So yeah, the game kind of starts off, and you get like a lot of exposition, but you get like I don't know. I felt like the pacing was really all over the place.
Oh yeah,
like you're getting introduced like to a lot of different people here, and then you're kind of like fast forwarding on the Tears of the Kingdom timeline to get to the Sonya scene, and that's where we're gonna cut things today. Is like once you get to the actual Sonya scene in the game, but it feels like it's like very truncated. It's like you get Zelda there, and then the next scene she meets Minoru, and the next scene it's like it's been months, and then like things are going okay, and it's like, oh, okay.
I feel like I agree with you. Now that we're back on this part of the topic, where it's like, yeah, everything happens at a really choppy, weird pace.
Yeah.
But I 100% understand why they did it that way. I just wish they did it a little better. It's obviously to kind of give us like that time gap where Zelda is using her light powers, because before she didn't have a way to like channel her light powers. She just like was a ball of energy. So it's like showing us that time has passed. She's been trained by Rauru and Sonya, especially on the time powers as well. You know, Lenalia has taken her under her wing as her what is she? The lady in waiting?
Yeah,
is that the right?
I don't know. She's like her caretaker.
Whatever. Yeah, and then also the narrator is Lenalia, and the journal writer is Lenalia. So all of this is kind of taking place from Lenalia's point of view, which is kind of fun. So yeah, you have all this stuff where you're meeting all these people. You meet like some of the Hylians that are highly ranked and help Rauru and Sonya train Zelda, and it's like all just like this weird compact. Mm-hmm. And you're like, I only played 5 minutes, and now I'm watching like 10 minutes of cutscenes, which I don't have a problem with. I want this to be story forward, but that's a lot, you know?
I gotta say too, Al, so there's pros and cons to this, what I'm about to say, but like, do you think there is any person in the world that is playing this game that did not play Tears of the Kingdom?
I would think it was weird if you were playing this game but you haven't played Tears of the Kingdom.
I agree. And so on the plus side, I'm like, I appreciate that they didn't spend like a ton of time recapping the events of Tears of the Kingdom, but like, can you imagine playing this game if you did not play Tears?
What the hell is going on?
You would be so lost. Like, and like again, like I don't know if there's like a single soul that is playing Age of Imprisonment that didn't play Tears of the Kingdom, so like that's probably okay. But like, my God, like even if it's been a while since you played Tears of the Kingdom, you're getting like the information. Like I think they do like 3 screens of kind of like recap, maybe a little bit more, but like it's like really fast paced. So I don't know, that could be a good thing, could be a bad thing.
I mean, there's probably some scenes where I'm like, you probably should have brought that in from Tears. For example, the sword breaking and that tip hitting Ganondorf and then seeing it like fall or something, so that there was an indicator what is going on with this sword piece at the very beginning of this game. Like, I feel like that would have been a very good scene to start off with, to start your whole. And then also you could see Zelda fall back in time, and then it would make sense why she's in that field in on the Great Plateau, seeing Sonya and Rauru. So like, that would have been a good scene that I feel like they should have recapped that, but they didn't. They kind of just like do a quick like recap dialogue of it, but they don't show it.
You know what stuck out to me in that recap dialogue? It stuck out to me like it had fluorescent lights. They specifically mention draconification and what a forbidden act it is. They specifically mention it off the top, so my ears are perked, and I'm like, okay, maybe this is going to be a thing that's coming up later in this game. And I kind of feel like it's going to be. Like, I feel like there's got to be some sort of, like, draconification something in this game, you know?
Like, the game ends with Zelda, you know, taking the Secret Stone, eating it, becoming a dragon, and maybe you have a level where you're as Zelda with the dragon or something.
Something. Maybe. Yeah. Or maybe it's someone else, Al. Maybe it's someone else. But they do specifically say that it's a forbidden act, and they definitely do infer.
They say that in Tears. Yeah.
They definitely infer that it's a long since like past thing that's happened in the past, and we definitely don't see the 3 dragons in this game at all. So
I mean, at this point, yeah.
So I'm not saying it's impossible what I was proposing. Still, I think it could still happen.
Okay.
But that stuck out to me like a sore thumb. And actually, while we're talking about that, there was I'm skipping ahead like a little bit here, but there was a scene where the Dragon's theme was playing as well in a cutscene. So we'll get to that next week.
All right. Sure.
But yeah, so like I feel like it was definitely like a lot kind of going on and everything
Right.
like that. Um, I do. I still think that like something is weird with Sonya. Like she obviously like we know what happens to her, but I did think it was like a little bit disappointing that you didn't get to play as her yet. I don't know if
Right.
you will, but like at least for right now, she's not a playable character. So I was like,
Which
okay,
is it to me because I also had that feeling. I'm like, I'm 2 chapters in. She's very involved,
yeah,
like in these quests, and I'm just like, I don't feel like we get a lot of time to play as Sonya because there's going to be a point where you don't play as Sonya. There has to be. So,
yeah.
like, it seems weird that she's not available in within the first like 4 playable characters that we have.
Yeah, yeah, honestly. Um, and so we're kind of setting up the story again. So we kind of pick off with a curious choice of words again is that instead of calling them sages, they are called envoys in the
Yeah.
game. So it's like there's like no continuity from game to
Well,
game in terms of
wait,
like
wait,
what
wait,
people
wait,
are
wait.
called.
Is that just because at this time they're envoys of the different races and they haven't been dubbed sages yet? Because I think that's the point of that. Right now
Potentially,
they're going to be upgraded to sages.
yeah, potentially.
That's my guess because at this time they're building relations with all the different races,
Yeah,
and Zelda's like, oh look, okay, yeah, we're friends with the Gorons still, like, or back in the time we were friends with the Gorons, so that's cool. And they're just giving them their masks, starting to give them the masks. So I just think that's the point of that rank. They're just envoys at this
yeah,
point.
yeah. That totally fair. So we meet. We kind of link up with everybody, and the Zora and the Rito are they're already in the fold. They're part of the greater kingdom of Hyrule, and now we see the Gorons officially joining the ranks, and we meet Agraston. Agraston?
I say Agriston.
I think they pronounced it Agraston, didn't they?
I
I
haven't
actually can't
heard
remember.
his name yet. Like there, you see him and you meet him, but I haven't heard his name be said yet.
We'll have to follow up on that next
Yes.
week.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you meet him, and he is officially the Gorons are in. They have joined the fold, and Agraston is your envoy for the Gorons. So
Hmm.
lots of like training missions at the beginning, as you would expect. We'll get to the playable characters and stuff like that in a quick second, but um, yeah, like a very. I feel like it took a long time, but there seemed to be like a lot packed into this opening as well before you like
Hmm.
really start to get playing. And
Even
I
play,
feel
yeah.
like like once you do start to get playing, there is like a ton of stuff again that you as a player need to like learn and be aware of and everything. Like the Warriors games to me are like the definition of quantity over quality. Not to say that it's not good, but like you know what I mean. Like
Hmm.
there's just like there's a lot in these games.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so like the initial storytelling part, it's a lot. I understand why they did it to kind of keep from doing too much of what you already see in tiers. Makes sense. I understand. But it is like it's kind of jarring a little bit until you finally get to start playing. And I want to say like when the map unlocks is when I finally was like, okay, I'm playing this game.
Yeah,
You know?
I have an observation about the map actually.
Okay.
It feels really small,
It does feel really small, and I
right?
wonder if it's because that's what Hyrule Kingdom was at that time. You've got tens of thousands of years for the land to change and form, you know?
I mean, I don't think so. Land just doesn't like expand like you know?
Have what is that? What did we all used to be? Was it Pangea? Is that what it's called?
Well, sure, but like I don't know. I think and maybe I'm
What
getting
is
ahead of
that?
myself again, but like you know, I could totally have bought your explanation, but like a corner of the map is the Hebrew Mountains, and then like a corner of the map is Lanayru, and like so it's the same thing. It's just very small. So like maybe you could say over time they accrue more territory or something like that, but like
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
even so, like Death Mountain is still Death Mountain, and it's in the same spot,
Hmm.
but it's in the map. It's comparatively a lot smaller
I
than
see what you're
the
saying.
Age of Calamity map. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a
But,
big deal, but like it's just something I notice.
planets do weird things. It is Pangea. I just looked it up where, like things are together and they can kind of like drift apart like this and expand and whatever. I don't know if Pangea is real. Is it just a theory at this point? I can't remember, but I would have to go back to high school. Anyways, I agree that the map does feel kind of small, and I don't know if they just did that because like we're not like exploring Hyrule like we do in Tears or Breath of the Wild, and maybe it's more like, you know how in
I'm comparing
Age
even to Age of Calamity, because Age of Calamity used the
that's what
same map. It just
well,
had
I was about to bring that up. So
yeah.
Age of Calamity, it was a big deal to them to do one for one of Breath of the Wild's map and the areas and like, you know, Hyrule Castle Town, the Great Plateau, and they did a really good job one for one. But even I noticed that the Great Plateau looks different in this game than it does in the future. So I just think that the landscape changes and shifts over 10,000 plus years. That makes sense in my brain.
I mean, I think the answer is just like they just shrunk the map to keep it more compact.
Okay.
I can't say that I think it looks as good as Age of Calamities does. It seems small to me. But I mean, it's not a make or break thing by any means. So we start to get some of the early missions, and these are like your typical like training, like show me what you got. So you're fighting a bunch of jobbers that work at Hyrule Castle, and they're so happy, they're so thankful that they get the opportunity to get beat up by Zelda, and that's their
yeah,
role.
It's super weird.
Thank you for this honor. Hit me again with your light sword. By the way, there is no fanfare to this light sword that Zelda has. Rauru just throws this thing at her. She picks it up. She's like, cool. It's a light sword.
In my mind, it's so Rauru has this spear, right? And this was also his dagger. To him, it was a dagger, not a sword. And he channels his light power through it. So he saw that Zelda had a light power, and he was like, here, do exactly what you just did just a second ago. And she does, and it channels her light power into a sword, a weapon. So
yeah,
that's what makes sense to me about all that.
It's not that it doesn't make sense. It's just kind of like, I thought it'd be like this cool, like, Zelda, this is your weapon. Like, a kind of a cool moment.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Okay,
and he's just like,
I see what you're saying.
He throws it, and he's like, catch! She's like, oh, this looks kind of, yeah, I think I could use light powers. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was a cool concept too, and then it's also cool because she seems so appreciative of it later. She's just like, thanks for training me and giving me this weapon. I've never known what to do with these powers until now. I'm so happy, and I thought that was a really sweet moment between her and Rauru.
Yeah. I quite like Zelda's interaction with Rauru and Sonia. What I really liked actually was you got to see a little bit more of Zelda and Minoru, who really do kind of seem like kindred souls.
Oh, they click. Yeah. They, and I totally, for some reason, didn't think a lot about that. Because you don't get to see that in Tears of the Kingdom, but like now that you put them together and you do get to see their interaction, you're like, oh yeah, obviously they would get along.
Yeah, totally. I thought that they had some nice interactions, and Zelda was kind of geeking out at all of Minoru's like, you know, inventions and labs and stuff like that. So kind of cool. It's kind of cool. So the first mission, or first couple of missions, you're doing the training, and I thought this is actually like really funny. So you fight Rauru, right, as Zelda, and the game keeps on giving you the option. He's like, do you want to retrain, or do you want to move on to like the next thing? It's basically asking if you want to redo the battle you just did to like really get some practice in. And the first option is yes, I would like to redo the battle. And I was like, this goddamn guy. You could call him a Zonai, you could call him an owl, but he's gonna get you no matter what.
I didn't think of that.
Because I accidentally pressed it again, and I had to fight him twice. And I was like, ah.
I did not think of that. That's so funny. Oh my god.
I was laughing a little bit because I was like, you know what? Okay, he got me.
He got me. That's so funny. I said no, and then my game froze, so I had to go back to a checkpoint. And
okay.
Yeah, my game froze and like put me back in that arena, but Rauru wasn't there, and it was telling me to fight Rauru, but he wasn't there, so I had to go back a checkpoint, and it was like, do you want to fight? And I was like, no. So even though I said no, he still got me. So like
he finds a way. It's that Zonai power.
Can I backtrack really quick to the Highlands?
Yeah.
Like, I need to talk about Typhon for a minute. I don't know if it's the mustache, but this guy looks like Corey Richmond. Did you get that feeling?
I didn't get that feeling. I think even, what's his name? Typhon?
Typhon.
I think even Typhon probably has more riz than Corey, so I can't say I made that connection.
I was like, this guy has the exact same mustache as Corey. That means he looks like him.
I will say I enjoyed smacking this guy around a little bit. Okay, so I have some critiques for for mostly next week about the playable character roster, I will say I'm gonna double down on something I said last week. I think that Super Smash Bros. Doesn't work if you don't have strong affinity to like you know what I mean, to the characters. Like
Yeah.
you can still find somebody that's gonna play Super Smash Bros. And be like, this is a great fighting game, but like so many of the people are only playing that game because it's like, I want to play as Mario or Donkey Kong or whatever. And I think that I was worried about that with this game, and I feel like I'm gonna double down on that for now. For now.
I see. That's what I was going to say is like, I can understand that feeling initially because you're still in chapter 3 and I'm still in chapter 2, but like maybe towards the end, because that's how I felt about, like, let's say the sages and the new characters. We're going to have enough time with them to get to know them to want to have that affinity and play as them. But I don't know if that's going to be acceptable for all the playable characters. I feel like, your big deal characters, that's what you want, but like, there obviously are going to be some non-big deal characters that are playable.
Yeah, and like, I guess like for me, and I don't know if we like want to spend too much time talking about this week, but I guess like for me, like as a person that does like to cycle between like all the characters and stuff, like that's a little bit of a disappointing aspect for me, because I felt like Age of Calamity, like every character that was in that game was kind of like, oh cool, it's like this guy or this guy or this guy, where like I cannot say that is like, I cannot say that I've been like, oh cool, I get to play as Typhon who looks like Corey, like
Oh my god, is that gonna be stuck in your mind now?
What's his? It's Typhon, actually. Typhon. I'm trying to pull up a picture of this bloke to see how much like Corey he actually looks. You know what? I could kind of see that. Corey has lamer hair though.
Typhon does have cool hair. I also want to point out something, like the voice acting of the new sages that we've met so far up through chapter 2, which is Agriston and Artie. Like the voice acting, sure, is the same voice actors as all the sages and the champions in Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, but I feel like with Agriston, Joe Hernandez does a good job of making him somewhat different, like older. And then also Elizabeth Maxwell makes Artie sound different too than Urbosa and Riju. So I appreciated that because I was worried about it. I was like, we're having the same voice actors; they're all going to sound the same, but they do seem a little bit different, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. While we're just talking about characters here, really quickly, you're gonna hate this, and I'm sorry. I do have to say that I found Linalia kind of annoying.
Oh no!
I did.
So far,
I did.
I'm like, she's like the journal keeper, so like all of the stuff that you're reading on the map, that's all Linalia, and it's all in her point of view, which I think is kind of fun. And then she's the narrator, which I think in Age of Calamity, initially it was Pyrrha, and then the next part was Zelda, I think, if I remember that right. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. So like, I find it fun that it's like this person who is recording all of this, it's her point of view kind of telling what's happening. So I like that about Linalia. But to be fair, I don't think she got a very good intro. She was part of that rush of information.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
And like, so I don't feel like she got a very good like intro to start with, and I think that's a bummer.
Yeah, I more so, I don't know if this is chapter 1 or 2. I think it's chapter 2, but like she was all like excited about ghosts and stuff like that, and I was like, where did that like come from? Or when there was like the duplicate Zelda thing going on. So
you're in chapter 3, I think.
Am I in chapter?
I haven't seen that stuff yet. Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure this is in chapter 2. This is her talking to Sonia and Zelda. I'm pretty sure about like that when they said that they saw Zelda in her study, and Zelda's like, but I've been in the fields all day.
I don't think I've seen that. Maybe it's a side thing or something.
Regardless, I don't know. I thought that she was kind of annoying, but she still has time to win me over. I will say. Artie, I did think was a really strong character so far. Like, I really like that subplot, and actually, I'm a little bit sad that we haven't really gotten back to see Artie yet. But so Artie is basically betrayed by Ganondorf, because like she's clearly just like not gonna carry out his orders.
Right. Let's go back to that. So Zelda trained, right? And now Ganondorf launches this attack, right, of the Molduga on the castle, which is like a frame for frame almost of what you see in Tears of the Kingdom, at least
Yes.
how Rauru handles it, and Sonia and Zelda like help. But the subplot there that we don't see in Tears, but they add in Age of Imprisonment, is that Ganondorf is blaming like a subsect of the
She's blaming
Gerudo,
Artie.
saying, well, yeah, and he's saying he, according to Artie, they're the pacifist group, and he's like, I'm gonna get rid of these guys because they won't follow me. So he blames them
Yeah.
for the Gerudo thing, and he goes to Rauru and says, "Hey, I'm with you, man. I took care of them. I'm on your side." And so
I
that's
like
what,
this a lot.
yeah, I do too. I was worried about it. I was like, so we don't see the Gerudo attack them in Tears, so this is kind of weird. Like, what are they doing? But it is explained very well that it makes a lot of sense.
You know what I got to say is not explained very well though is so and I get why they did it, because they're kind of trying to like redo what happened in Ocarina of Time, where Ganondorf does join the kingdom and stuff like that. So Ganondorf swears fealty, which actually you don't see that scene in the game, which I thought that you should. Like, I thought that was weird that they omitted
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
The pacing is like all over the place in the first little bit here, but so Ganondorf swears fealty, right, and everything like that, and then everybody knows that he's like full of it, but like they just let him carry out his plan anyways, and I was kind of like Rauru, what did you think was gonna happen, dude? Like, and I thought that in Tears as well, but here I thought that there might be some extra context that we didn't know, but like it basically plays out exactly the same. And I'm skipping ahead a little bit because I do want to get to that Sonya scene, but like there's no like extra context really that we're missing, except for the one where it's like why Rauru was a little bit late, which we'll cover here in a sec.
Right. I want to say to that concern that you have, I feel like in the Sonya scene we get a good enough explanation. So if we're moving on to that,
well, let's get there. Let's get there in a quick sec, because I do want to spend a quick moment talking about. Well, actually, let's talk about presumably. I don't believe they've been named yet, but presumably Koyum and Kotake are Ganondorf's two henchmen, and they are responsible for summoning these shades that you fight. And they look cool. They have like masks and whatever. Like, they do not look like your granddaddy's Koyum and Kotake here, okay? Like, these are like Gerudo assassins, and I thought they looked really cool. Assuming that's them.
I also was assuming that was them, and I was wondering if we're getting. My theory is that you're getting all these kind of like psychic characters along with the sages. I feel like when you finally get Ganondorf as your playable character, these guys are going to be the quote unquote psychic characters, and they are going to be confirmed as like Kome and Kotake, but like. Yeah, they feel like those two to me. Like they're like Gerudo captains. They're high level. They're at his beck and call. They're ready to kill Artie at his command, And yeah, they're great. And they have that cool flute that summons the shades. We didn't even talk about the shades at all. Like this whole time.
Well, I mean, like it's just kind of like an enemy. I feel like it's like another. It's like when they introduced Gloom instead of Malice, and now it's just like shades. It's like, okay.
Yeah, and they're clearly made with Ganondorf's like power,
yeah.
His red goopy power. So, yeah. So it's, and the shades also like take over people, which is kind of also like reminiscent of like Zelda, the imposter Zelda. Anyways, so yeah, they summon the shades and they have power to do that, and they're ready to kill Artie at Ganondorf's beck and call. So I do think it's them. They just haven't been confirmed to us yet.
I think so as well. So the mysterious construct saves the day. He saves Artie, and we don't know what happens to Artie after that. And actually, we don't get to play as Calamo in the opening two chapters either. But we just focus on the mysterious construct. However, that's not the only mysterious construct running around, is it, Al?
Oh God, did I miss something?
I hope not. To get to the Sonya scene, you definitely would have had to battle this battle. So, because everybody in Hyrule is just like such a sucker for this double Zelda thing. It doesn't matter if it's in the past or the present. Ganondorf has summoned a duplicate of Zelda to go into this really sealed off section in the depths where there are multiple tombs of these constructs. This is where the mysterious construct came from. And Rauru, by the way, has theorized that this is what caused the downfall of the Zonai.
Okay, so I don't know if I saw the Ganondorf part, but there was a part where you are exploring the depths with Minoru and Rauru and Zelda, and you do find this like area with all those constructs. And Minoru wants to, engage with them, but Rauru's like, don't
Yes.
activate them. You could study them.
Correct.
I didn't see anything about a double Zelda. I didn't even know there was a double Zelda in this game yet.
You said
so
you
I don't
finished
know.
up till chapter 2.
I did. So is
You
there
didn't.
like
You did not.
stuff
If you
that
did not see this.
like literally the next chapter it says that it's chapter or the next part says it's chapter 3. So I don't know if I missed something here.
You might have, because
I might have. It's fair. Anyways,
let's go ahead. So what happens is this chamber where the downfall of the Zonai took place, theorized by Rauru. He's like, I wonder if this is the power that brought down our civilization. So don't activate any of these constructs, even though one of them is empty, and we know that the mysterious construct is running around. Puppet Ganondorf, or Ganondorf with his puppet Zelda, sends her down there, and she's like, hello, guards. I know you saw me inside this chamber and haven't seen me come out yet, but I need back in. Oh, what? You think there's only one way in? How foolish of you. What if there was a landslide? We'd be trapped. Let me in. And so they're like, well, okay. And so Puppet Ganondorf Zelda goes in, and I don't know where Zelda and Minoru are, because like it seems like this is quite the loud, unsubtle thing that happens here. But Puppet Zelda goes over to one of the constructs. She's like, that'll do. And she has the red malice, and is like, and like sends the red malice into their gloom, or whatever you want to call it, into the construct. And we have our second mysterious construct who battles Rauru. And this, you would have had to see the scene now, because this is when Ganondorf is sworn loyalty.
I definitely didn't, because
how could you have missed this?
No, listen, there's like these side missions that you have to do in order to get the main missions.
Yeah.
And so the last side mission that I did in the depths was there was a Gerudo down there after Zelda and Minoru were exploring. And it was clear that she was going to go report. So I think what happens is there's a mission that I'm missing before the next story mission, where the Gerudo reported, and so Ganondorf sent down. That's my guess of what's going on here, because I totally missed that extra mission that you're talking about.
I'm sorry to ruin everything for you here, but I'm going to keep ruining it. So
I'm getting spoiled on my own podcast.
So now Koyum and Kotake are like, my Lord Ganondorf, we've done exactly what you've said. We've released the construct. What now? And Ganondorf's like, well, let it wreak havoc. Let it wreak havoc. So I guess like there is some extra context that we're missing to this like Sonya attack. Like there's this other thing happening, because like this construct starts to like go crazy, and actually so as there's one last mission, the last mission here that we get to, which was really unfortunate, because this is when Ganondorf is still like, quote unquote fighting for the king. And so there's this mission where it's like something is happening. This evil malice construct is ruining everything, and Ganondorf's like, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take care of it. And Robert's like, well, I'm coming with you because I don't trust you. And I was like, oh my god, yes, are we gonna get a mission with Rauru and Ganondorf here? Like, yes. And we didn't. And I was just like, oh man.
So there's this really interesting one of the trailers. I can't remember if it was the last trailer or the second to last, but there was a Ganondorf and Rauru focus. Like they were talking to each other, but like not directly. It was like through quotes you have in the game, obviously. And I'm like wondering if there's really going to be like a butting heads. Obviously there is, but like if there's going to be more of a focus on their like tumultuous relationship in this game. So that kind of makes sense to me, where he's like, I don't trust you, I'm going with you,
Yeah, I was so ready to have like Ganondorf and Rauru fighting together. I was like, this is going to be so awesome.
Can you imagine their sync strike? Like,
and it didn't happen, unfortunately, but that's okay. It was all set up. So Ganondorf is in fact at Hyrule Castle, and this is where the Sonya scene plays out. Rauru realizes that he's been duped, and he fights a bunch of Gerudo and flees back to the castle. But Allison, he is accosted by this mysterious evil construct and fights the construct. You did not play this?
No, so I think I'm thinking of I got to a Sonya scene and I was like,
what Sonya scene are you thinking of?
There's a Sonya and Zelda scene where they have like this really nice moment where they're just like together, and she talks to him about Rauru's decisions and like the union between the Gerudo and that scene. So I'm
maybe
like,
I should have been
explicit.
The Sonya scene I'm talking about is when she dies.
I didn't think that would happen so early. So when you said Sonya scene, I didn't think we were okay. Wow, I just did not play as far as I needed to.
No, you did not
I
at
literally
all.
got to this Sonya and Zelda moment, and I'm like, Andy said Sonya scene. This was the Sonya scene, so this is where I end.
No, no. So
I'm sorry, I messed up, everybody.
it's well that makes sense why I was just like the Sonya scene happened exactly as it did. So
Okay.
so yes, so and you're right actually. I was surprised that we got to the Sonya scene where she dies. Let's just call it like that, the Sonya scene, okay?
Yeah.
It happens
I know what that
early,
means.
like really early in the game, and maybe I should have been surprised because like after that you see the transformation of Ganondorf into the Demon King, and like that's really where the imprisoning war actually starts, and and your map totally changes. I'm not going to say anymore because Al's not quite there, but I guess I shouldn't have been surprised by like how like quickly that happened because like that really is the war. But I was kind of with you. I was like, I can't believe we're here already, and Sonya is like definitely not going to be a playable character now because yeah, Rauru was hung up fighting the evil construct, and the scene with Zelda and fake Zelda and Ganondorf and Sonya, it plays out exactly like it does in Tears of the Kingdom. There's no extra added context. It's just one for one.
Okay. Fair enough. And like to be fair, that's not a spoiler. I knew that was going to come at some point. So, the Sonya scene that I was talking about is they're like in a field with flowers, and she's looking at the flowers, and Zelda comes and she's like concerned about this relationship with Ganondorf that they're about to have, and she's even like, that name is not a good name. Like in my time, and Sonya's like, no, your time needs to stay with you. Our time needs to stay with us. We cannot converge these timelines. But also, Sonya says, Rauru, my husband, is going to have many tough decisions in his future, and some of them he may regret, and some of them, may be for the good of all. But she points out, like, Rauru's going to regret decisions, and I think that was your point where you were like, what is Rauru hoping to get with, like, being able to keep an eye on Ganondorf? Sure, but, like, you're just letting him into your circle at this point, and that's the decision that I think Sonya heard. Her like kind of clairvoyance was there, being like, Rauru's going to regret this decision, unfortunately. So I really like that cutscene, and that's why I thought it was the end of chapter 2.
This just shows you the difference between Al and I. I say that Sonya cutscene, and to me it's like clear as day. I'm talking about where she dies,
Because in
and
my
Al's like,
mind-
it's this nice, pleasant scene between these two.
In my mind, I was like, "There's no way they're killing Sonya this early." So, like, that's why I just didn't get
I
there
agree.
in my mind.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was, and again, maybe I shouldn't have been, but like I was surprised. I was like, I can't believe we're here like already.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
so yeah.
But then you give it further thought, and you're like, well, the imprisoning war is the stuff that
Right.
happens when he gets the secret stone, and they have to get the envoys and upgrade them to sages. Like, I get maybe why they did it so early, but it's kind of shocking that they did, especially
yeah.
when you think Sonya's going to be a playable character.
Yeah, right? Like, totally. In a game that is already desperately needing playable characters that you actually know and connect with. So I was with you. And again, I was with you too, because I was like, it shouldn't be a surprise, because like the imprisoning war actually starts once he becomes the Demon King, but
Right.
here we are.
Here we are.
So that's as far as we'll take the story. I think the story has been like good up until that point. And I'll even say, like, again, I'm about halfway through chapter 3. I think it's been good up until then as well. So cautiously optimistic. Let's talk a little bit about the actual gameplay itself, and we'll do like an in-depth episode on like playable characters maybe down the line, so we don't have to go too into it, Al. But I do have a few thoughts on the game that I want to share. You know what the first thing I wrote down was?
Rauru is awesome.
That was one of the second things, actually. No, Rauru was awesome. The first thing I wrote down was like Koroks again.
Oh, Koroks. Yeah, the Koroks are back.
The Koroks are back.
Yep. Oh, well. I don't know what
I
you
gotta-
get from them yet, but
I gotta say, like, these Koroks in these missions too, like, maybe I'm just missing some, but they're like not even trying. It's just like, it's like a clear pathway, and it's like the circle spot where you just press Y to see it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not hidden at all. It's just like right there. And I was
I
like,
also have to say that I hate the action button being Y instead of A. So like when you open chests or you get to a Korok, you have to hit Y, which is your attack button. Doesn't
hmm.
make any sense in my brain. So I'll accidentally hit A and it does like some mega attack because I've built up my gauge. And I'm like, no, I was just trying to open the chest.
That might be a user problem. I can't say that I've
It just seems like a really weird decision in my brain.
okay. So
You're like, I'm fine.
yeah, come on, get with it, Al. Um, yeah, I think that the levels have been. I think that like maybe there's like a disconnect, not a disconnect, but like I remember being really impressed in Age of Calamity that they were so like 1-to-1 with Breath of the Wild.
Hmm.
And here I don't know that they're like 1-to-1, but again it's because
No,
like you're in a different version of Hyrule, so you haven't necessarily seen it.
you're in a different era.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so I feel like I'm not like as like impressed where I'm like, oh wow, like this is Hyrule Castle or it's
Hmm.
whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know if you feel the same
Yeah.
way.
I do. There's some parts of the Great Plateau that do look the same, but then the other parts where I'm like, I have no idea where I am on this plateau. This does not look like the plateau
Yeah,
I know. So, and
which
trust
like
me,
can
I've
be
been on the
fine.
plateau a lot, like,
Yeah,
so, I mean, and it could be fine. And to be fair, a lot of that landscape goes up into the sky anyway, so that's probably why a lot of it is unrecognizable.
I feel like they throw enemies at you like early. Like you have got like in the first two chapters you're fighting Hinox's, you're fighting Lionel's, you're fighting Talus's, you're fighting
Mm.
the frogs. Um,
Hmm.
there's like a lot of enemies. Constructs you're fighting as well. Like the flux constructs. There's like a lot of enemies that you're just like, oh, like wow, like okay, it's
Hmm.
time to go. There's one in chapter 3 as well that we'll talk about next week. So they don't hold back, that's for sure.
I feel like if you're playing Age of Imprisonment, you most likely played Age of Calamity. So in my
Yeah,
mind, I was like, they didn't want to be like a slow intro into this. They know that we've played these games before and are like, just throw us in.
yeah,
That's the vibe I got.
yeah. I was kind of with you. The attacks work differently, or not like differently, but like I would say like in Age of Calamity, I thought they did a really great job of like all the characters integrating like the Sheikah slate into like your four attacks, and that
Hmm.
made sense. It was continuous among all the characters. This game is different. You've got like special attacks that is like unique to each character, but it kind of has like
Hmm.
a break attached to each of them. So like there is a certain special attack that you could do to halt someone in the air, to halt someone charging at you, to
Hmm.
halt someone with a shield. So I kind of like that system, and I will say I thought they did a really good job of integrating the Zonai devices and even like fuse
Hmm.
and stuff like that into battle. I don't know if I'm gonna say it. I feel like it's as smooth as Age of Calamity, but like it's a really good job of integrating what Tears did into
Hmm.
this game.
I agree. And again, since I haven't done that many levels, it feels like I've only done like maybe 6 or 7 at this point. There's some stuff where I'm like, I don't really want to use a Zonai device here, but they're telling you to. And so like I feel like once I get more into the motion of like seeing the patterns, a Zonai device would be really good here.
Mhm.
Then I'll feel better about the Zonai devices. But for now, I really like the like your regular weapon, hack and slash. I like the like special attacks that you have where you have to be a little bit more strategic with what you're using. And like they've introduced like a couple other things like the camping system where you can like upgrade how quickly your gauge goes up, your defenses, etc. and like,
That one I'm not in
heal
love
up.
with, I gotta say. I
It's
feel I feel
fine.
like
Like
it stalls the momentum of the level.
I can understand that. Yeah. I get why it's there. It's kind of like war tents, so yeah, like I that made sense to me. And then there was a couple other things where I'm like, this is new. Like they've improved, but they're kind of escaping me at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think like it's Warriors gameplay. Like if you played Age of Calamity, you'll probably feel pretty comfortable playing this. If you played Hyrule Warriors, you probably feel comfortable enough playing this
Hmm.
as well. So I mean I thought that they've done a good job. I'm kind of now at the point where I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with like the Zonai devices and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So it definitely does add to the gameplay experience once you kind of start like getting your fire emitter against the frost enemies and stuff like that. So
Right.
it feels pretty good. And I like I said, it's not exactly my favorite, but I think that they've done a good job of like getting that into the game. The only thing we really haven't seen is like Ultra Hand, really. Like, I feel like
Yeah,
we've seen Fuse. I feel like we've seen Recall. I feel like we've seen, well, not Ascend, but I guess that makes sense.
you kind of get it when you're with Rauru and you attack with Rauru. He uses like his
Sort of.
hand ability to like with specific attacks and stuff like that, which
Yeah.
are really cool looking. So that's the kind of vibe I got with Ultra Hand. But yeah, if there's more to do with that, that would be cool.
So you're right. I feel like Raru is like clearly your best character. Like, no,
Yes.
yeah.
So much fun to play as Rauru.
He's
And
great.
just like he's like so powerful and so cool. I like Zelda too. I'm not having a blast with Minoru if I'm being honest.
You know
Like
what? I really like Minoru, like her animations and attacks and stuff with all the different Zonai
mhm.
devices. I think they look great. Like actually battling, she's okay, but I think that Zelda is kind of just okay as well. Like she's like, I preferred Age of Calamity Zelda. I'll say that.
Uh-huh. And maybe she'll get different attacks later on, just like
Yeah.
Age of Calamity Zelda did. But yeah, I don't know. Something about Minoru, she's just a bit slow for me. But I what I did do is I played as each one so that I could get the different sync strikes with the different characters because I
Hmm.
wanted to see them, and they're a lot of fun so far. Like I'm having a fun time with like the camaraderie of the sync strikes.
Yeah, I think that sync strikes are pretty good so far. Some are definitely better than others. I will
Yes.
say. I think that like all the sync strikes between like your main three characters that you start off with are really good.
Hmm.
They kind of become a little bit more hit or miss as you get a little bit into the game. But yeah, I think the sync strike was pretty cool. I would probably power rank my characters as like Rauru is number one for sure. I mean probably Zelda number two and Minoru number three, but like I'm not in love with like Zelda either, to be honest. So like they're kind of on
Hmm.
the same level. I thought the mysterious. So you only play as one level with the mysterious construct so far, and
Hmm.
I mean it's basically
It's very
Link.
Link
Like,
like. Yeah,
yeah,
it's just a Link, copy in and it's fine. Like so far it does what it's supposed to do and that is play as Link. So
yeah,
so far so good. It is what you expect it to be.
yeah. So far so good is basically how I would say it too. So,
Mhm.
um, well, okay. I mean, I think that's pretty much our first impressions. I don't know if there's anything that we left out that you wanted to go over. Like, obviously, we have a lot to play and catch up on.
Mhm.
Like, for me, like we'll talk about the gameplay. We'll talk about some cool stuff. But like, really, like I the story is what's driving me here. So we'll continue with our story recap. We'll give clear spoilers for anybody that wants to avoid this, and we'll talk about just some like cool missions, playable characters, kind of as they come along as well. Next week, I think we'll have a lot to say because there's at least like, one, two, three, four, five. Like there are multiple new playable characters that we'll talk about next week.
Okay, fair enough. I don't have any more to add about first impressions. And like I kind of have this theory of like the weird
Yeah, I
stuff
want to
they're
hear your
doing with.
theory.
Okay, so it's a work in progress, obviously. But with Calamo,
Hmm.
I think that we are like when you were suggesting that he was a Deku like months and months ago. I think you're right. I think he is going to be the great Deku because his deal is he's like, I'm on my adventure to find my spot where I'm going to bury
Yes.
my roots and I'm going to make a big forest and that's what Koroks do. And so that's his deal. And I'm like, that's totally what the Deku would do, right? But then he's got this his new bud, right? Which I think is Spirit of the Sword, Vi, where the forest is going to be built around the Master Sword pedestal, right? So I
Yeah.
feel like these two characters are going to be connected forever in that,
Hmm.
this is how they started their journey. And then, like, in the future, the Master Sword rests there with the Deku Tree. So, like, I
Yeah.
feel like these two characters, like, grow this incredible bond, and that's how they're going to be together. Not to mention that Calamo takes, like, a Gerudo sword. And he's like, this is going to be my prize for saving you, Artie. Because what it does is help me, grow. I
Hmm.
like grow against it and it makes me a big old tree. So I just wonder if that's going to be the Master Sword for the Great Deku Tree. I don't know how that works when Zelda's got the Master Sword, but that's like the future Master Sword. So what happens to the past Master Sword? That's where it gets a little
Ah.
muddy. So, but I have a feeling that like that's what's going to happen to these characters is that they're going to make
Yeah.
that forest and reside in the forest.
I think like all signs point to Calamo being the Great Deku Tree. Like
Yeah.
it looks pretty
If
likely.
it's not, I'm going to be super disappointed.
I
Like
mean,
this
they
is
just like they hammer you home with like looking for a
yeah,
place to put down roots. Like
make a
they
big
must say that
forest.
like half a dozen times in the first like 2 hours.
And maybe that's why the map looks so small. There's no great Korok Forest.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Or we'll just get the icon somewhere in the top of this small little map, and it's like, oh, there's your forest. But I think that's pretty likely. The only thing I guess that doesn't quite add up, although I think you could get around this, is like Zelda should then know that the Great Deku Tree is Kalamo, right? Or Kalamo.
Yeah,
although in Breath of the Wild, she wouldn't have known that because she didn't go back in time yet. And then do they interact in Tears of the Kingdom? I can't remember. Maybe not.
No.
So that actually makes sense. Of course they don't, because like she was a dragon. Yeah.
Right.
So that actually makes sense. You could totally get away with that. So
yes. Yeah. Yep. So anyways, that's my running theory about how they're gonna wrap up the construct. Because, like, it makes sense for the Korok to be the Great Deku Tree, but, like, what do you do with the construct? Because now it's here. What do you do with it? It's weird. It's not canon technically. So how do you make it canon? That's how I'm thinking it works.
So one thing I want to point out, actually, is that in the Spiteri cut of Age of Calamity, there was Terrako, the evil malice construct that became Calamity Ganon in Breath of the Wild. This construct in Age of Imprisonment looks kind of like what I was pitching, where like an evil construct that becomes that weird thing called Calamity Ganon in Breath of the Wild. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case, because I think that if you're at Nintendo, you are legally not allowed to mention anything that happened in Breath of the Wild when you're in Tears of the Kingdom. Like, there's no Sheik attack, there's no malice, there's no... like. If you refer to anything that happened in the game, like, you're going to jail. So I don't think that's going to be like some kind of tie-in, but...
Plus, it's a different, like, material. You got the construct material versus the Sheikah material, which is what Calamity Ganon is made out of, so...
We think that's what it's made of.
We know, because it's literally got the material, the Sheikah material on it, so...
Well, who knows? I think there's some gray area there, but it is sort of, like, kind of... similar-ish.
I get what you're trying to say.
Yes. So not exactly a one-for-one, but something that's like kind of sort of in the same vein as well. So maybe that's where that construct will ultimately end up as well. I would be shocked if there was like something in this game though that explained anything in Breath of the Wild. Like, to me, like this, like Tears of the Kingdom feels so divorced from Breath of the Wild in so many ways, where like I can't fathom that this game links up to Breath of the Wild and not Tears of the Kingdom. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, we'll see. Okay, there is our chapter 1 and 2 impressions. Or chapter 1 if you're Allison.
1.5.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude,
okay.
Chapter 2 goes on after that cutscene happens. Like you're not even close to done chapter 2.
I'm too literal. I just got it in my brain. Sonya cutscene. I got a Sonya cutscene. That was it. Like. Well,
I didn't want to spoil. I'd just explicitly say like the one where she gets stabbed.
You should have, because, like, I know that's going to happen at some point. I would have been like, damn, it happens in chapter 2? Wow. But, like...
Okay. Lesson learned for me.
Lesson learned. I need to figure out where chapter 4 ends, basically, for next week.
That's right. Okay, everybody. We would love to hear your thoughts of the first couple of chapters of Age of Imprisonment. Let's all be courteous to each other. Use spoiler tags. Let's not put anything out there that we're worried that, you know, might disrupt the enjoyment of this game from someone else. So, and if you wanted to skip these episodes until you're ready, totally fine. Bookmark them and come back. These will be there for you when you're ready. So, okay. Well, we are going to get out of here. Thank you everybody for listening. We want you to check us out wherever you get your podcasts. Go like and subscribe and recommend and rate and review. And hey, if you got a Zelda fan in your life, tell them where they can get their weekly Zelda fix. We do this every week. We are live streaming every Sunday, twitch.tv/the Zelda Cast. So come and hang out with us live if you want to. And you can check out Zelda Dungeon's YouTube page if you ever want to see these episodes in full video form as well. Check us out over on Blue Sky. We are at Spiteri316, at Allison Alifa, at the Zelda Cast. And as mentioned earlier, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/SPNet. We got the Zelda Cast XL, me and Gooey Fame doing a Zelda variety show once a month. We did talk some Age of Imprisonment this week, and we talked some nostalgia as well. So go and check it out. And that is it, my friends. We are going to get out of here. We're going to go play some Age of Imprisonment. So until next week, everybody, take care.
Bye.
Hey everyone. If you enjoyed this clip and want to see more of the Zelda Cast, make sure to head over to your favorite podcast platform of choice and subscribe. There are over 200 episodes in the vault that will provide you with hundreds of hours of Zelda content for you to enjoy. You can listen to us when you're on a walk, fighting Ganon, trying to sleep, whatever. And if you want to see these shows as they happen, make sure to head over to twitch.tv/the Zelda Cast, where you can watch our beautiful faces talk about Zelda every single week. Don't miss out, and we'll see you next time.